There's a new change coming to draft events on Magic Arena, which is going to make them even better value for players looking to collect as many rares as possible. So let's get into exactly what is about to change. Welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the new change to draft events that are going to be coming up very soon in the coming months. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Okay, so the change happening is basically to do with the number of rares you get in the pack or the way that packs are built. And the reason for this is because things are changing in tabletop Magic, and Wizards of the Coast obviously want Arena to be as close as possible to tabletop Magic. So the changes that are happening in packs on paper are going to happen in Arena as much as possible. Now, the quick background to the reason for this is because on paper, there used to be draft boosters, which would be designed for drafting and balanced for drafting, but would also be a way that you could just collect the set. And then to make the packs kind of more interesting in a way, they added set boosters, which were a different type of pack that would have more rares in them and would generally be more exciting to open, but would not be balanced for drafting, so you couldn't really use them for drafting. Now, this brings all kinds of problems for game stores that are collecting stock of the draft boosters and the set boosters, and it makes things a little bit more complicated for a couple of different reasons. But basically, what Wizards of the Coast want to do is just bring it back so they only have one type of booster which is playable for draft, but is also kind of more interesting to open, which partly means you can get more rares in the pack than you can in a normal draft booster. So normally in a draft booster, you would have 10 commons, 3 uncommons, and a rare in the pack. So the changes for the play boosters basically means that there will be a draftable pack. You can get up to 4 rares or mythics within that pack, with the possibility of some of them being magic history cards, which are from a list known as the list, or special guest cards, which basically just means other cards from older sets in Magic that tend to be kind of interesting, exciting, linked to the set that you can collect them in. So if you've got these in a Murder at Karlov Manor pack, then in some way the rares or mythics or the magic history cards you'll get in there will be linked thematically or in some way to that set. And so the next set would have different possible cards that you would get there. Basically, this means that you'll have a 1 in 8 chance of getting an older card from the list, which will be reprints of older cards, basically. Not playable in standard because they are from different sets, non-standard sets. And the announcement from Wizards of the Coast says that there will be 40 reprints with original art, which are 30 commons and uncommons, and 10 rares or mythics. And then there are 10 special guest cards as well, which are reprints with new art that fit in thematically with the set. Now, the list cards you can get in regular paper packs will be slightly different to the cards that you can get in Arena, and that's due to the limitations of which cards are available on Arena, because Arena doesn't include all the cards from Magic history. It just has a selection of them so far. So the list will be slightly different. They also mention that the cost for a tabletop draft, if you're doing this in the store, is likely to go up because the cost of the pack is slightly higher. So play boosters cost more than draft boosters, but you do get more rares in the packs on average. So per dollar, you should get the same ratio of rares for the amount you're spending. But there aren't any plans to increase the cost of drafts on Arena, which is really good news, because the first thing I thought is if they make drafts more expensive, it's not going to be ideal, and people are going to be very unhappy about it because you know how Arena players are. But the good news is that drafts are not intended to go up in cost. So this just means we have a lot more potential value in drafts at the same cost, which is great. So there are also no changes intended for the regular store packs, the ones that we buy in the store. but also the reward packs we get from events, from the Mastery Pass and all that. They shouldn't change at all. They'll be the same as they've always been. So that's great news for people drafting on Arena to try to get as many rares as possible. So you can get up to 4 rares in each booster. It means you can just collect a lot more if you're trying to get most of the value from the draft picks rather than expecting to get a certain number of wins in the event, which is great for new players, especially ones who aren't as good at drafting. But you have to remember that one of those slots is presumably from a historic or explorer set, because it's not going to be standard legal if it's from the list or a special guest card. So increasing the value we can get from draft events is going to change the balance of whether it's better to draft for value or to buy packs in the store and get golden packs. But either way, it's all great news for the economy on Arena, which, although many players like to complain about, is actually really budget friendly and seems to get more budget friendly as time goes on, as we had the addition of golden packs back in Brothers War, and now we have play boosters coming to draft with Murders at Karlov Manor. At the moment, there's not much more to say about this change to drafting because we don't know exactly how it's going to affect the format, the events. It might mean that the rewards we get from draft events are going to change, or it might be they stay exactly the same and we just get this extra boost of more potential rares in the set. It's also going to change the strategy you might have when picking your cards in a draft, because with more rares that you could choose, there's more temptation to pick cards that are off color, that don't work in draft, and you're just adding them to your collection. So we'll have to see how this changes the balance of value drafting. But as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Are you looking forward to this change? Do you think it's a bad idea for drafting? Let me know if it means you're going to try drafting now where you wouldn't before, and all those things. I would love to hear what you think. And yeah, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And I do appreciate you watching it right to the end, so thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next video.